Skye. Hi, Matt. Welcome back to Linear Rock.
Yeah,
hello.
happy to be back.
Thanks for having us again.
What an intro.
Yeah, that was in Italian. I have it in English as well. But first, today it's our boss Marco's birthday. And he did it all, all his best to have you guys, especially you, Skye, tonight for his birthday. So you could wish him a very happy birthday. So let's do it the Cyco way. Would you do it for us?
Sure.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michael. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
Great. Okay, so SUMO CYCO, 4-piece spicy female-fronted groove metal band from Toronto. 10 years career, 3 albums, 25 singles, 23 official music videos, a lot of stuff. Okay, tonight we present the brand new album, third full-length record, Initiation, which is out now on Napalm Records. A fascinating crossover of metal grooves, pop hooks, electronic undertones, and a dose of punk flavor as well. Just, to break all the rules while delivering another unpredictable sonic adventure in the imaginative conceptual location of Cyco City. Okay, now, I know you don't like, to be trapped in genres. So let's call it, a Cyco-brand sound that you can headbang or dance to. But some way, genres are labels that fans put, to have coordinates, especially in these modern times when everything has a tag. Even Spotify, tips you on new bands based on your own taste, and that helps, let's say, going straight to the point. So you have to confess, maybe as listeners, don't you actually fall yourselves sometime into the temptation of defining yourself or defining somebody else's genres, when you approach something new? Can it be useful some way? Even the Cyco brand, let's say, has become a definition itself in the end. What would you think?
Yeah, no, it's true. We understand people some way to navigate a little bit, but with all the types of genres. So we consider ourselves more like an alternative rock band at its core that also branches out and does metal and punk and pop influence and everything like dance hall and calypso beat. But at the end of the day, we're a good old rock band, I think. Would you agree with that, Matt?
I call us whatever core. Nobody gets it, but we have these core roots, but we like so many different things. So I'm literally trying to change the whole world right now and start a whole new thing called whatever core, and that's the kind of music we make. That's what I think.
How much is, a matter of instinction, this obsession you have always, to stand out from the pack and be original? Notwithstanding, of course, that, the positive approach to it behind it, of course. But isn't it some way dangerous to mix rock and electronic music, for example, when you have maybe a punk metal DNA? Have you factored, that the bomb could explode in your hands maybe at some point?
Well, for us, I think it's always important to stay true to who we are, and nothing that we do that is going to try to manipulate what we think people want us to be is going to come off as authentic. I feel like it's pretty easy for people to see through the veil when you're trying to pull the wool over someone's eyes, so to speak, or trying to trick them to think that you're doing it to help. It has to come from the heart. And I think for Matt and I, we just do what the two of us think is cool. And when we can agree on something, when I like it and he likes it, then that's SUMO CYCO.
And what about the cover artwork of Initiation? Is it you, Skye, falling upside down?
It is me on the cover, yes.
It is you, okay. What's the concept behind it?
Well, like you mentioned earlier, a lot of our world is this other dimension, so to speak, called Cyco City. And we always like depicting Cyco City on our record covers. So it's been a tradition of ours to have Cyco City on all of our record covers, but in different ways. So this one is a colorful sunset, a burst of light, to kind of give the viewers an idea that our music is very bright and colorful. And has me falling towards the city from the sky as if I'm taking my own initiation into Cyco City.
Okay, great. Initiation make you think immediately about the start of something. But this is your third record, which, by the way, comes in a peculiar period worldwide. So is this like initiation for whom precisely? Is it you, the listener, or it is, a general concept?
Want me to take this?
Yeah, I mean, you can take it if you want, sure.
Yeah. Initiation is for our new listeners out there. So we thought that with this record being released through Napalm Records and being a time that a lot of people are having to take the visuals and music for face value, not being able to see us on the stage or live, that it was a way that we had to introduce people to our music was through this record. And we felt like we were going to reach a bit of a wider spectrum now being part of Napalm Records. And we wanted to invite fans of pop music, metal music, whatever genre, to be initiated into Cyco City, into our crazy world where anything goes.
Initiation is an unusual concept album concerning lyrical content of it, which is inspired by the band's reality with personal themes that all listeners actually can relate to. Usually, what comes first for you guys? Is it the title of the song, the theme, the lyrics, the music, or there's no rule even in the approach to composition for you? And do you work as a team, or Skye, you're the only one in charge writing lyrics?
Well, we do things differently, but our typical formula, I guess you could say, the Cyco formula is Matt is an amazing arranger and producer. So he'll go into a studio room and he'll come up like a mad scientist with some sort of instrumental track and then present it to me. And if I like it enough, I'll start working on some melody and lyric ideas.
But I have to present it to her.
And then I will bestow upon him the honor of writing lyrics. No, I'm just joking. And then we'll write, usually I'll come up with some ideas, show them to Matt, and then Matt will say, not so sure about this, not so sure about that. And I'll say, well, if we repeat that part in the music a bunch of times. So it's really kind of a back and forth dialogue. And sometimes we don't always agree. Sometimes it's very, two strong-minded people trying to
We never agree at first.
And that's the trick. That's the trick.
I think that's what kind of gives us our little bit of our unique sound, is that Skye and I don't have the same interest in music a lot. We obviously like a lot of the same things, but she's just into a whole different world than I'm into sometimes. And when we go to songwrite, those different worlds collide, and we got to break apart all the parts that we don't like about each other's parts until we like all the parts. So it is a big collaboration.
Yeah.
She's still kind of in charge, though, at the end.
Of course. The last word is Skye's, okay?
Yeah.
Of course. Like all women.
The music doesn't work if I don't get her to sing on it. So she kind of gets the last word,
Sure. So, guys, how much in this collision process, let's call it like this, how much the producer role actually influence your musical choices and direction? And there's Kevin Churko this time, which is like a mighty producer, which work with everybody from Ozzy to Five Finger Death Punch, Disturb, everybody.
Yeah, well, I'll let you take that one since you're the producer.
Okay. The production, like it's my baby. So like I go out my way to like try and create stuff, and it's very important that we get it right, sort of what kind of weird music we build. But this record was the first time we worked with somebody else. And yeah, you mentioned Kevin, but it was actually Kane, his son.
Kane, sorry, yes.
That's okay,
Kane.
that's no problem. It's completely understandable. They're both huge producers. They're the father and son duo.
Sure.
Completely understandable. I just want to make sure that we correct it. But Kane, same thing. All the bands you mentioned, he's worked with some huge warriors out there. So It was really interesting for us to take our music, just the two of us, the way we kind of butt heads and build our thing, and hand it to somebody else and go, what do you think? And have somebody, a third party, kind of sit in and work with us, and somebody that we have such respect for. And he has some great tricks up his sleeve, like when it comes to production, and he taught us a lot while we were there. We spent 2 weeks with him, and I think that if we hadn't been in COVID, because we wrote these two songs, the Vertigo and Overdrive, which were the songs we did with Kane, we wrote those just before COVID hit, in the summer before COVID hit.
Okay.
And we would have probably liked to finish the whole record with Kane. Being in COVID, it was just not possible. So I kind of just put it in my brain. I am a producer. I'm just going to try and take those two songs and kind of attack them the same way Kane kind of taught us to attack those songs with the rest of the material. So Skye and I just kind of went back and just wrote as much as we could and kind of utilized some of the things that Kane taught us and implemented it into this new record. And we were really happy how it came out. And I think it's my best work too, of trying to get something to sound as best sonically that we've ever had, and that's thanks to Kane as well.
Which is the best thing that you think you learned from Kane?
Kane doesn't have rules, and that's like a huge thing to learn when you're brought up and you're learning things sonically as an engineer or a producer. Like you're learning, don't do this, don't do that. There's rules. School will sort of teach you, don't go in the red line. You don't want it to be hotlining. You don't want these certain rules. Kane doesn't believe in any of that. He just believes in his ears. So he'll be doing things that mathematically look wrong on paper, but sound incredible because he's shaping it a certain way, and he's actually utilizing some of the things that you shouldn't do to his benefit. And I'm like, wow, I never thought to do this. And it really makes you think out of the box. There is no rules. And the more he kind of said, stop looking at it like that and just use your ears. And once you think it sounds great, it doesn't matter how you got there. And I was like, man, I just didn't think about it that way sometimes. And he's really good at that.
Great. How is life at Cyco City after the pandemic, and how was it during it?
Oh, man.
Yeah, well, obviously
we're still in the pandemic.
Yes, of course, but we're a little out of it. Let's say the vaccines came, so there's hope. Let's look at it like this.
You are correct. We think the same, but like we don't know how well Italy's doing right now, but like from our standpoint, we're still in complete lockdown. Like our Ontario area, even though we're getting vaccinated, our hospitals are still super overrun. So they've got us.
I heard about Canada. Yes, I did. Yeah.
Fortunately, everybody's heard about Canada. We were like, we're a little too what's the word? Relaxed.
Yeah.
We're a little too relaxed, us Canadians. So we relaxed.
We thought it was over too soon, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with it. You know?
I mean, for us, we wrote half of this record before the pandemic and half of it during the pandemic at our home studio. So for me, there's a lot of different emotions on this record because we had the celebration of the songs, like when we were in Vegas with Kane Churko, and then to have songs like Bad News and Bystander, we're all came from a place of me being frustrated with feeling like I was just waiting for the world to go back to normal, and seeing all this devastation and tragedy happen was just really heartbreaking. And I had to kind of recalibrate myself to the changing world, and that took a bit of time because as artists that love to travel, we would love to be going across Europe right now and visiting with all our friends in person. Like it is a change in lifestyle and mindset that we had to do when approaching this record, and it was an adjustment period. There were some times that weren't so fun, that I felt really down, and then there were moments where I felt like I got to use this time that I have to make the best of the situation.
It has been hard. Like we've done like we prided ourselves, even though we've made records, the way we've grown our business has been by touring. Like it's never been because we had some hit single and just it went all over the world. It's always been about us grinding and just going and touring. You know, our second tour ever was Italy, I think, wasn't it? One of the very first tours we ever did. And it's like we just got in our tour vans and we did the plane flights. So we've done like 23 international tours in the past 5 years. Like it's really hard for us to just sit here this past 14 months because that's how we really meet people. And
we miss everyone.
So that's kind of why we threw ourselves in with Napalm and went like, we got to make as many music videos as possible because that's the way we're going to reach people right now.
Yeah. But, I was asking about Cyco City after the pandemic, because I know it's a parallel world. So maybe there, everything is solved by now. So that's what I was meaning.
Sorry, we went off on the wrong there. How is Cyco City after the pandemic?
Well, if anyone views the videos from our recent songs, everything that happened on planet Earth, I guess, is kind of mirrored in Cyco City, but in a different way. So instead of a giant, pandemic invasion, it's like a giant spider invasion happening.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see.
The spiders in Skye's eyes, the spiders is COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, that's clear. Your music is very cinematic and you make like marvelous videos. Did it ever happen that the inspiration for a song came from the idea of the video, so the other way around? And since you direct your own music videos and also promo stuff, do the visuals actually take the same time as composition or even more sometimes?
These are great questions. I like good questions.
I don't think we've ever done an idea where we had a video reverse. I think it's always the music first, but they do take a lot of time, and
they're a way bigger process than the music.
Yeah. We've had videos that have taken, 6 months from beginning to end. Yes. Wow. We've had ideas that we will film a small piece of a music video, months and months ahead, and then complete the rest of the video later.
The video, Vertigo, the song Vertigo you guys were playing earlier, that we actually, the bathtub scene in that, we had shot 1 year, almost a full year ahead.
Yes.
Because we were expecting to push that song earlier, but then COVID hit and we had to reschedule things. So then everything got pushed back, and then we actually started moving towards a different song for the first video, which then meant we had to put it on hold. So we definitely do things on our own schedules here. Like it's pretty out there.
But it is a really important part of our band, and
it's just as important.
Yes, and we also feel like it is an artistic expression the same way that the music is. It really shows who we are and what we're trying to achieve and the mood that we're trying to create. And there's a lot of layers behind each of the videos, and it really does tell a story. And the deeper you kind of get into Cyco City, there's more to find out and unfold, and it makes it really fun for our fans to find all the little Easter eggs we hide in the videos.
And it makes it fun for us as like creators to try and better ourselves every time we try to make a music video, or try to come up with these creative ideas instead of relying on somebody else to come up with imagery for us. Skye would much rather make sure it comes out of her head, and I'd rather have it that way too.
So now we're going to see the bad news video. Do you want to introduce it for us? And of course, after I have a few more questions for you guys. So stick there because you're going to be back.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. This is our new video for Bad News from us, SUMO CYCO.
Yeah. What are these bad news about? If I can imagine that, but I want you to explain that. And how much of your wonderful videos do you actually recreate also on stage?
Well, Bad News was written about the frustration of being stuck looking at screens, whether it's computer or your TV or your phone, and constantly scrolling and just seeing bad things happening in the world. And it just felt like it never ended. And every day I woke up, looked at the same screen again, and saw more bad news. And it felt very repetitive and just almost like it was dulling my spark as a human, feeling like I needed connection. I needed to feel like the world had more joy. And that was a process that I think I had to go through the pandemic. But at that moment when I wrote that song, it was all about the frustration.
Sure.
And I think people could relate to that. And for us, the video has so much bright colors to kind of counteract how really dark the lyrical content is. It's really just about kind of sitting in that moment of perpetual bad things happening constantly. So we wanted to do something that was a little bit more fun to not make it such a sad song. And I think watching the video and hearing the song at the same time lets you feel the vibe of the music in a positive way, even though I'm talking about something so negative.
Sure. And about recreating, also on stage, all the video stuff.
Yes, well, obviously we have big dreams. I would love to do full-on costumes and dance routines and set changes.
We've done it a couple times.
And there's a couple times we've tried. One time I got my brother to dress up as a character from Cyco City and chase me around the venue. So we've done things where we can.
It's just, it really comes down to like if we get to a level where we're really doing a lot of headliners and we have a bigger budget, I'm sure it's going to get even more theatrical.
Sure.
But it's mainly when we're at home and we're doing our own headlines that we can kind of pull off some of the extra magic. It's pretty hard to do when you're like in a 30-minute support slot for somebody like that. But we still have, Skye still comes out with her weird costumes. She still has outfit changes sometimes, and she still plays with the crowd a lot. So she's very inventive on how to make it more interesting than just seeing a band just play a song,
Sure. Last time we spoke in 2017, you expressed among your goals the desire of making movies some days, a real film. At what point is now that target for SUMO CYCO?
Well, I think our plan...
Good question.
all got back a couple years because of the pandemic. So the last 14 months that we would have loved to be out touring and promoting this record, now we feel like we still have that bug to get out and get on the road and start performing again. So I think it pushes the dreams of starting a
we're
film
closer.
later.
We're closer. Skye, I think especially during the middle of COVID, there was a spot where Skye just turned and said, maybe we should just like pivot and start doing this movie we keep talking about. And we were like, there's just too much to try and handle at the same time. But it is something but it's not necessarily like anything to do with SUMO CYCO. We've talked about this where we're like, as much as we love our band and our projects, that if we were to move movie-wise, we keep coming up with these ideas that I don't even know if it's a SUMO CYCO movie. It's just more of as people that love to create and make music videos, our natural step, we keep seeing us try to make a movie at some point. And I think in the next 2 years, I bet we're going to get our head started on that.
Yeah,
one.
I think so too.
Yeah. And maybe it will be a SUMO CYCO movie. I'm not sure. We keep throwing out the ideas. It's like Kiss Goes to the Opera, is it? Have you seen Kiss Goes to the Opera? Or
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we could do something like that.
Okay. I know there's a streaming concert coming. Is it tonight that you're going to present the record live on a streaming concert? Is that correct? And did you prepare anything special for it?
No.
Not for tonight.
No.
Am I in trouble? Did I miss something?
Okay, I'm going to do it.
Okay, Barb, we'll give it to
Sorry, Barb. We did do something like that. We did it on the day of the record release.
Okay.
We did a live stream, and kind of just invited a close amount of friends and followers and psychos with us, and we went through the record, listening song by song.
Okay.
And kind of explaining Skye, especially Skye, because she can explain and explain. She explained every song and kind of walked through it. We got drunk with our fans for 2 hours and listened to the music. But we definitely didn't have anything planned tonight. I apologize to anybody that thinks we do.
Okay, so Marco, you're not going to have your birthday present from SUMO CYCO.
You can dance with Marco if you want.
Okay. How many things do you have in common with both your alter ego, Sever and MD?
Yeah.
13. Okay. And what are the weaknesses of Skye and Matt that for Sever and MD13 have become strengths?
Ooh, I love these questions.
When we started SUMO CYCO, I wanted to create more of a differentiate myself from my previous careers and musical endeavors. And I think it was the same kind of thing with Matt, is to present ourselves as kind of new versions of ourselves with these new characters. And for me, Sever is more of a badass. She's a rebel. She isn't scared of anything. And to me, it's like that persona I enter into when I'm about to go on stage and exude absolute confidence, as if, there's not even a side of me that is at all nervous or trepidatious about anything. And what do you feel like, Matt?
For me, I am the same human being I was. Those are my initials, Matt Drake, and I was born on the 13th.
Yeah.
And Skye literally wanted us to have these alter egos for Cyco City, so I kind of got named this. And it goes with me, but I am me.
Okay.
We're lucky.
This is the one that lives in another world. I just get sucked into it.
It's lucky we went with MD13 because his original name was going to be Meat Bomb.
Yeah, at first she tried to call me Meat Bomb, and I was like not having it. I have a big of a tummy already, but I'm not getting called. I'm not spending my career people calling me Meat Bomb. So I went with my initials and when I was born, and I said you can go with that, and I thought that was cool. Kind of gives me a production title. That's the way I look at it. But technically, I'd like to think that I'm a strong, confident person either way. She definitely lives in the other world, though. She's in a different place half the time.
So, Matt, for the good and the bad, is it you? Okay, pure Matt. Okay.
Yeah. I am what I am.
Skye, a question for you. Usually the process, is band first, then a solo career. But you did the opposite thing, and you were on a major label also, Capitol EMI Records, with the press actually comparing you to Avril Lavigne back then. You're still a driving force in the group SUMO CYCO, but why at some point did you prefer actually to be part of a band rather than continue as a solo artist?
Well, there are a lot of transitions I went through in my late teens, early 20s, and finding my identity as an artist was part of that. I had grown up doing music from a very young age, and I kind of got used to doing pop music because that's just where the opportunities were for me. And when I got to about 20 years old, I started thinking that I wanted to explore other areas in music, and I wanted to just play with the idea of possibly screaming or rapping or basically breaking down all the rules. And there was a lot of things I went through, from the business, whether that was dealing with label stuff and lawsuits and different, people and managers in my life that kind of made me just kind of get fed up with it for a moment, where I was just like, I just need to just be me and just find out what artistically is going to make me happy moving forward. And then, of course, I met this guy, or didn't meet him, but reconnected with him.
Don't blame me for everything.
And the music we were making was just as much mine as it was his. So I felt like to us, it is a project. It's a band project. It's not just about me anymore. It's about creating something with someone else and building, a family. And that's why I kind of transitioned and liked the idea of having, like-minded members of my band that could be my friends and warriors going into battle, going onto the road and trying to build things from the ground up again.
Okay. Skye, another question for you. For an unpredictable duet, would you pick Lizzy Hale or Lady Gaga?
Oh, that's a tough one.
They're both pretty awesome.
They are both amazing, fierce females. I feel like Lizzy would actually probably out rock me with her big vocals, because she just has those really soaring vocals, and so does Lady Gaga. So it's really tough.
I think Gaga. From my point of view, it'd be interesting to see what we'd write with Gaga. Because, like...
It might be more outside
Hailstorm's, like, I love Izzy and Hailstorm, but it's rock, you know?
Yeah.
But the way we write, I would much rather see what Gaga would bring to the table than Lizzy. And not because Lizzy's not amazing. Her voice is incredible, but Gaga's just out there, you know? So to me, that would be interesting.
Couldn't we do, like,
a trio? A trifecta. A trifecta would be amazing. All three girls together. Anybody knows how to contact those two women and ask them if they want to write with us. We're down.
Okay, deal made. So we're launching the message here. So let's hope they're gonna actually.
If you're ever interviewing Lizzy, Barb, just mention, look at this band Sumo. They're ready to do this with you.
Okay, great. Your drummer Matt Trozzi has actually Italian origins. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, where is he from?
Oh, I don't know, actually. Never.
Yeah. I think
You know, he definitely has the Italian. He's really hairy on his chest, and his parent. He's got the idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
But I've never actually said to him, "Where's your cultural background?" What maybe his family came from. I never asked. I apologize about that.
Okay. And what's immediately next for you guys in the next few weeks, next few months? Do you have any plans already?
Yeah, well, we're working on some more music videos for our record, and we're just kind of coming up with some crazy more Cyco City ideas that we'll be working on very shortly. And I'm going to do some more merch launches. We're going to go on some more live streams with our fans.
There's been talk, thank God, of maybe possibly touring in late October in the UK area because they're starting to get ahead on their vaccines, and they're opening up a bit more. What I'd love to do is bounce through UK and then into Europe and maybe even Italy and places like that. It just all comes down to working around COVID, of course. But I'd like to think by next year we're going to be able to run properly through all these countries. You know, I've got my fingers crossed.
Yeah. In the meantime, we'll keep everyone entertained over at Sumo CYCO's socials, and we'll do some fun online events.
So we're going to close the show with the No Surrender video, wishing, the best to all of us to find, the strength to carry on again. So this is a clear message, no surrender. So thanks, guys, for your time, for this great interview. Can't wait to see you back in Italy. And do you want to introduce the video for us?
Before we do, we want to thank you too, Barb, because, it's been 3 times now that we've been on Radio Lombarda. So thank you guys for always supporting us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great questions. And we hope everyone enjoys No Surrender.
And we can't wait till we can come on Real Tour and maybe visit for real again.
Thank you so much, guys. Ciao, Skye. Ciao, Matt. Ciao.
Thanks, Barb.
We love you. Ciao.